Again, I'm Ron Daly back. I'm very pleased to have Dr. Rocky Wallace from Asbury University. And Rocky, you're working closely with a lot of our schools, a lot of our teachers here in Eastern Kentucky. So first of all, tell us what your role in that is.
Okay, thank you, Ron. Thanks for inviting me to be here. We are a part of the higher ed piece. So there are 7 universities, I believe, that walk in partnership with our P12 educators doing what's called a pedal visit. And we do an initial all-day visit, and one of KVEC's folks, either Dr. Hawkins or Dr. Cayetan, leads in that visit, and then we come back and do follow-up walkthroughs at least up to 4 times a year. So it's an ongoing school improvement process where we blend P12 folks and K-12 practitioners, and the school is very much involved and has great ownership in the process. I believe we have 30 different professors who've helped this year, and we've been in about 30 schools and over 100 P12 partners who are helping make out these teams. So it's been a wonderful collaborative project.
Yeah, and talk a little bit more about pedal. Professional learning is very important. Creating the right culture in our schools, having the right leadership. And so pedal is a locally grown operation for professional learning. Dr. Jeff Hawkins and Dr. Henry Webb, superintendent from Floyd County, created it. So talk about the value of what pedal's all about.
Pedal actually stands for Perpetual Excellence in Teaching, Leading, and Learning. Perpetual Excellence in Teaching, Leading, and Learning. And Jeff and Henry, in their doctoral work at Morehead State University, wanted to create a process that would allow ongoing school improvement. It's somewhat of an audit process, but really not an audit process because it's more of walking together as these visiting teams come in. It's a mixture of folks from the school district and folks from outside the school district, so there's fresh eyes. There's a very closely monitored process in terms of the walkthrough instrument we use, which we borrow from Michael Rutherford, who also we've gotten to know better through Morehead's doctorate program. So pedal is the most effective school improvement process I've ever been a part of. I've served on several teams. Jeff and Henry hit a home run in terms of merging the various partners together in something that's a win-win for everybody.
Got a text question. How can students learn from pedal practices?
Okay, great question. The feedback that's given by the team after the walkthrough and after the share out in terms of notes that's given to the principal and other school leaders, then the principal will take those notes to an after-school meeting and share with the teachers in terms of what we observed in the classrooms. Pedal basically are short snapshots of what's going on in the classroom. The teachers have identified teacher talents from the Rutherford work that they're wanting to focus on more this year. So after a pedal visit, they get to see what we observed. So if we observe that they are focused more on one or more of Rutherford's teacher talents, his 23 talents of an artisan teacher, then obviously the teacher is getting immediate positive feedback, and that definitely makes an impact on the students.
Because the follow-up question, how does it trickle down to the student level?
It's basically a process that builds in ongoing improvement in terms of classroom instruction, as well as the school-wide leadership, with the principal understanding the instructional culture that needs to be improving every day.
And Dr. Wallace, you've worked with schools in, I guess, more than one state and all across this Commonwealth. So what is going on here in Eastern Kentucky as a result of the Race to the Top grant and with the work that KVEC is doing?
Well, what I've been so impressed with is the many partners who have brought together. This conference today is a great example. Hundreds of folks here. We have a former commissioner of education here who's heavily involved with this project. Folks from the University of Kentucky, Morehead State, Asbury, University of the Cumberlands. Folks from all of the various districts that are part of KVEC. We have student presentations. This action research focus. So there's a synergy that's happening because of this grant. And you know the piece you play with all the various partnerships. I've never been a part of a project like this before, where all of the different entities come together working on one cause in a win-win environment. Everybody's working with each other. There's not any competition. So it really is a grant that is already showing some transformative change in this region.
And I'm glad you mentioned about partnerships because you have the Appalachian Higher Education collaboration. Then I'm working with the Appalachian Innovations Collaboration, which is designed to get all the stakeholders, the community engaged county by county, and then we're trying to build a regional network. And knowing with dwindling resources, we've got to use our resources wisely in a very collaborative way. And then, boy, if you have all these different people involved, you're going to have a lot of different ideas that you can take advantage of.
Exactly. It really creates a culture of think tank. These meetings and the various other ways that Dr. Hawkins is bringing us together, and your leadership team that you're a part of, it's really helping to work smarter and helping us all to connect the dots. Like I said, I don't believe I've ever seen 6 or 7 universities in higher ed at one time working with P12 hand in hand the way we're doing with the Pedal project.
There's a lot of energy in this building today,
there is.
Isn't there?
There is a lot of energy.
And a lot of robots running around too. So Rocky, anything else you'd like to share?
We're thrilled to be a part of the project, Ron. It's one of those things that you, as you go through your career, every now and then something comes along that is just too good to not dive into. And in terms of speaking for our Dean of Education at Asbury University and our President, Sandra Gray, we have really been blessed. We're learning so much from this project, and what we're learning we're taking back into our grad classes and our undergrad classes in terms of what P12 is doing right now. So we're bringing a little bit to the project in terms of the piece we add to Pedal, but we're taking a lot away too. And
I'm glad you mentioned it, and I won't mention what universities, but we picked up on that about all the College of Education of the universities and colleges are changing, and then a lot of it is this opportunity for them to see what's going on in these high-performing rural areas.
Exactly.
Again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron.
Appreciate it.